Hi Thomas. Just a word about Kai Havertz, who played well on Monday night. Where do you think his best position is, and how much potential do you see there?
I think that we are pretty, from my opinion right now and today, this is pretty much maybe his best position, between a 9 and a 10, and have the freedom to drop and to move fluid between the two positions and to shift positions between a 10 and 9. I feel him very confident in high positions. I like to have him in high positions. I don't want to have him behind the ball. I want to have him high up the pitch. And he feels comfortable in the back of opponents. He feels comfortable in between the lines, in narrow pockets in between the lines. So this is pretty much it. If it's like a 9 when he starts all his actions from the very center of the pitch, or if it's maybe a more a half position, like between a 10 and 9, and between a winger and a 10 and a 9. This is pretty much the space where he can feel comfortable and where he can be decisive for us.
I think. How do you see Havertz? Do you see him as a 9, a half 9, or a no 9?
I'm still not sure.
Yeah.
I see a kind of a bit of Dennis Bergkamp, Robin van Persie, Berbatov kind of player.
Yeah.
He can play in the half position, I think, because he has good runs, but he is also feels free from the 9. And creates overloads to one side, and he arrives in the
He's prepared to go out here, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
And here.
Yes.
And then arrive in the box.
Not always an advantage, but he has a good timing for it.
I think would we say that's how he played for Leverkusen? Right. When I saw him play there, I thought he played right at the top.
Position, yeah.
He played
many
more
games
at the top when he was scoring them goals.
And I was like, when I watched him in Leverkusen, did not know that I once will coach him, but. When I was in Paris, and we watched, of course, Leverkusen because they had an interesting squad, and especially also for him, and they made him play as a 9.
Yeah.
Was very interesting, and was like I said. I remember when I watched I think cup final or something against Bayern with my staff, and said this could be a good role for him.
Yeah, good position.
Let's see.
He's come on fire now. He's obviously, for whatever reasons, we won't go down that road, but here he is there again. He's an assister, and now he's beginning to finish. I mean, there's Mount, who I think has been sensational for you as well. But for me, he looks he's almost like a target man. You can play him as a little bit of a target, but he's actually...
But like you see, he's used to play from the half field, which makes him very fluid.
Well, have you seen one of the tweets that Chelsea have put out, talking about how many passes they made last night?
Well, the pass masters,
I didn't know having doing loads of passes meant you scored lots of goals. Obviously, it doesn't. It's a weird stat to put out. Is that what they wanted? Is that the game plan? But they get a manager who can keep the ball and make loads of passes that actually don't. They're not going forward. And I think that's where a lot of people will talk about Sarri ball, about with Jorginho in there and the sort of football you played. His first pass yesterday, as soon as they kicked off, was a backward pass to the right full back, and that carried on most of the game. Now, he's going to be ruthless. I think we've seen that, because when you look at Chelsea, their best players this season, you would say Zuma's been one of their best players. You would say Mount's been one of their best players. You would say James has been up there, one of their best. Pulisic, when he's been fit, has been impressive. So you would say they've probably been their best players. All of them yesterday on the bench. All of them. Which was a strange timing. And then even with Tammy, I know it was against lower league opposition, but scored a hat-trick. You would think as a striker, if you start scoring goals and you score a hat-trick, it's a good time to play the next game. And then he made that change as well, so that was strange.
Well, I think that all those, including Vernon, who weren't impressed that Mason Mount was out of the team, or out of the starting lineup, were proved right, because he came on and you could easily argue he had more impact in those few minutes he was on the pitch than anybody else. You could make a case for him. I actually thought they were going to give him man of the match. Well,
it would have been good if they did.
Oh, they should have.
Well, Havertz had a stinker.
Shocker, yeah.
Absolute stinker. It's almost like he doesn't know where to go. It's almost like he's lost in the position he's in. So they need to find out exactly where his best position is and put him there and see if that works. That'd be an idea. because he's obviously someone who can't just float around in playing different positions. Stick him where he wants to be and give him a run, and if he ain't good enough then, get rid.
Well, but what did he learn from that? And I'm not sure there is anything he learned from that game last night, other than, Mason Mount's actually probably better than I thought he was.
Well, they can keep the ball. I think...
but Wolves let him have the ball sat deep. Anybody can keep the ball against
that's
a
what
team
I'm trying
like
to say to you there. But he knows now he's got players that can keep the ball and they can pass it. There's no problem there. I think the problem they've had this year is the creativity and defending from set pieces. Now, did they look better defensively? I would say, yeah, they looked all right defensively. Do the players need to wake up and realise he's not going to... He's not going to just sit there and do nothing. He's going to make things happen. I mean, even as far as Chilwell, when he took Chilwell off and subbed him for Pulisic, I mean, it shocked Chilwell, didn't it? He went, what, me? For him? So he's going to make decisions that probably the players might question. But if he gets the results, nobody's going to be bothered.
Hi, Thomas. Thanks for your time. You said great news that N'golo Kante's fit. You spoke briefly last night about how excited you are to work with him. Where do you see his best position? Because obviously he's played in loads of different roles in midfield, and you seem to fulfil them all well. But where do you think you best?
I think he's the strongest on the 6-6 in the center, in the heart of the game. Gives him a little bit more freedom than he plays a 6, what he can do. But I like he's for me not his strength is not to be the to care. Turn it around. For me, he's a 6 because we can use his energy, and we can use his range, his volume in his game, his ability to recuperate and recover balls everywhere on the pitch. For me, he's a guy who's a big helper for everybody, with a big potential, with a mentality of a helper, of a water carrier, but at the same time a world-class player who played a crucial role in the World Cup win for France, and that's why it's super important to have him. And for me, the 6 is the best role for him, because it gives him a bit more freedom than he plays the 6, which demands a bit more discipline on the position and maybe cuts his wing a little bit, but I'm sure he could also play there.
In terms of that wide or false 9, as we talked about, where do you think you're going to be playing most at Chelsea? Where would you like to play most?
As you know, my position is mainly as a winger.
I think he should play in the last line, or in between the defensive lines, to drive towards the last line or run through the last line, and in this free role as a number 9 and dropping into half spaces.
As you know, my position is mainly as a winger. Then going to City, living the dream, and then now coming back to London as I know exactly what I want from my life and football. So it's such a lot of quality that there are many spaces to use for him. He can play, of course, from the wing. He comes from the wing and is used to play there. He was very dangerous and had an offside goal and a big chance now from the number 9 position, which was a bit a more free role for him to play, and I liked it a lot. And but some of the times I enjoy floating about and getting on the ball, but I always judge myself on how effective I am on the game, so it depends where I'm going to be most effective. At the moment, last game against Everton, played from the false 9 position, and again, I'll be most happy where I can be effective and help my team.
When you get given a collection of stars, Arsene, do you pick a team or pick a way of playing and pick a system, so what you have, or do you make them play the way you want them to play?
It depends. If you arrive and you have already the players there.
Do you shoehorn players into positions where they're not comfortable?
I think the first quality for manager is to put the players in a position where he's comfortable, where he can meet his needs, you know, and express his talent. I think the first quality for manager is to put the players in a position where he's comfortable, where he can meet his needs, you know, and express his talent. And that's why a manager normally is a guy who observes well and detects the strong points of the players.